Two mothers from Sheffield have set up a course for parents who are having difficulties in relationships with their own children. Jenny Reid and Rosie Diamond are play therapists. They teach parents how to help the children, their own children, to deal with what's troubling them. They're here to tell me more about it, and it sounds wonderful. Jenny and Rosie, thank you very much for coming in. Rosie, what do play therapists do?
A play therapist is someone who uses play to help a child deal with whatever's going on in its life. So it might be bereavement or trauma or bullying, any kind of issue that's going on. We use play, we're what called non-directive play therapists. So we use play and allow the children to choose what they play with and how they play. And through that experience, the child works through whatever might be going on for them.
What kind of age of child are we talking about?
In play therapy, we work with children between about 4 and 16. And we have special dedicated playrooms with particular materials in it for the play therapy.
Can you talk through, I don't know, what it would be, a session with somebody? What would happen, Jenny?
Oh, it's very variable because the child leads. So quite often in a first session, the child might be a bit timid, might need a bit of time to get to know us and to get used to being in the room, or they might want to, typically they'll want to explore all the materials that we've got. So they very often kind of have a look around, pick things up and play with them for a couple of minutes, and then put them down again and move on to something else. And we'll just kind of reflect and track and notice what they're doing, notice anything particular that captures their interest.
Like?
Well, it might be, for example, that they spend quite a bit of time kicking a ball about, and we might join in with them in that and reflect that they're really enjoying that this is something that makes them feel comfortable, that's familiar to them. Or it might be that they really want to paint a picture, so we'd sit with them and provide the materials and kind of notice what they're painting and the effort that they're putting into it, and any particular feelings that come out of that. So if it's a very happy picture, we'd talk about how this looks like a really happy scene, or if it was something where there was a lot of rain, a lot of darkness, then we might talk about, this maybe looks as if it's a sad picture. So it's just kind of picking out the feelings that the child's expressing.
And this is therapy with the children. Do the children know they're dealing with a therapist, or do they just come into a room full of toys or with some nice women?
It varies. Usually they know that we try to set the scene for them a little bit by talking about, we've generally met with the parents beforehand, so we'll say we've talked to mum or dad and they've told us that you're a bit worried about whatever it is, and that maybe this is something that can help. With older children, we would expect them to have a bit more understanding, and we can help to prepare the parents to tell them, to explain to them why they're coming, so that they've got a bit more of a focus on what the issues are.
What's your own backstory, Jenny? How did you get into this kind of work?
When I finished university, I went to work in a children's home, and one of my colleagues there was a play therapist, and I was really inspired by the course that she taught, the kind of brief introductory course that she taught, and a bit of play work that we did with the children there. So I worked as a children's mental health support worker and young people's support worker while I was training as a play therapist, and this rest history, really.
How did you get into it, Rosie?
I started off as a substance misuse therapist with adults, and then moved into family therapy, working with families where the children were at risk of being taken into local authority care. And I just found that I felt that I had a gap in my experience of what to do with the children in the families, so I went back and retrained as a play therapist.
And what did you find out? That play was good for us?
Absolutely. It's essential.
We seem to give ourselves away a bit in it. That's what I was becoming a bit uneasy about.
That's a nice way of putting it.
But it's not always good to give yourself away, is it? Is it? I don't know.
Well, I think it's interesting to say that, because when we do play therapy with children, we provide a very safe and contained space for a child to feel able to give themselves away a little bit, knowing that we, the adults, us, are not going to be shocked or disgusted or disappointed in them. Because what's really important in play therapy is there is no right or wrong way to play. There is no well done, there is no you mustn't do that. It's a very accepting environment which allows the child to feel free to give themselves away.
What if the child starts damaging the playthings, the dolls or whatever?
Good question.
And I guess they do, don't they?
Occasionally, yeah. We do set limits, and we don't have rules up front. But if a child starts breaking things, that is one of our rules, and we would say gently that one of the things we don't do in here is break things.
It's BBC Radio Sheffield. It's fascinating stuff. Jenny and Rosie talking to me about their project, the work which they're doing, helping parents help their children. So it's that way round, isn't it? That we're talking about your assistance you give to parents. So who comes to you to do that, and what assistance do they get? Jenny?
At the moment, we're working from a private therapy centre in Hunters Bar. We both also do some work for small charities in Sheffield. But at the Apple Tree Centre, it's parents who approach us really because they're concerned about difficulties their children are having. So it might be that the children are struggling in school, that the school have raised concerns about their behaviour, or that there's a lot of conflict between siblings in the home, a lot of conflict between parents and children, and lots of kind of behaviour management issues, the children not wanting to do as they're told or being a bit unruly, and the parents are struggling to deal with that. Often they're children who've been through a bereavement, or whose parents have divorced, or there's been some kind of change in the home that's made things difficult for them.
We're talking about this, folks. If you want to join us, Jenny and Rosie talking about therapy for parents and for children, if you want. And I'm in the studios of BBC Radio Sheffield with Jenny Reid and Rosie Diamond, and we're discussing play therapy. We're discussing some sessions that they organise with parents so that the parents can, as it were, pass it on to their children. And very interesting it sounds as if it is. Jenny and Rosie, you're both parents yourselves. Do you need some therapy to help you?
We may well. It's the hardest job in the world, so I think everybody needs a little bit of help sometimes.
Have you learnt anything from the course yourselves?
Definitely. While we were teaching the course, I was trying to do the play session. When we teach the course, we train parents to hold a half an hour a week play session with their child where it's very focused on using those new skills. And I was doing that with my own daughter, which taught me a lot about her. But I think we both found as well that we were monitoring our parenting skills all the time and noticing things that we did that we maybe hadn't noticed before, even though we've been play therapists for a long time.
Will you share some of your secrets with us, or your shames? Were you finding that you...
My mind's gone blank. It's not that I haven't got any.
I'm a parent. Mine hasn't. You lose your temper more with your own children than anything else in your life. It's the hardest job you ever do. You feel ashamed of yourself a lot of the time.
Gosh, that's right, yeah.
Is it true? Yeah. It's not just me then?
No, it's really... It's really true for everybody, I think.
Tell us about the course then and what happens, and the advice you give, for instance, about thermostats and thermometers.
One of the things that we teach parents is, help me out, Jenny, which one is it?
You be a thermostat, not a thermometer.
That's right. So when your children's emotions are getting high, when they're getting angry and frustrated, they might be kicking and screaming, it's your job to bring the temperature down to a comfortable level. So you yourself, your behaviour, not to match theirs, so don't join in with the kicking and screaming and the shouting. Try and be calm and help them to bring their temperature down to match you. It's the idea is that their feelings are not your feelings. You don't have to behave the same way they're behaving. So it's about really trying to be aware of that and stay in control of yourself. And I think thinking about it in terms of temperature does help, because a lot of the time we talk about heated moments and that's kind of how it feels when you're a parent. Your face flushes red, it feels very intense, and it's about gaining control in those moments, and that can be extremely helpful.
And is that the thermometer, which we shouldn't do when your temperature's rising?
That's
so you
right.
thermostat
the
it.
thermostat is the one in control of the temperature.
What's this advice, this scheme where you have a special playtime with the kids?
Yeah, so when we teach our CPRT parenting course, child-parent relationship therapy, rather than a kind of standard parenting course where you're trying to teach skills which the parents then try to use all the time, what we're teaching parents to do is to hold half an hour a week they have an appointment card, and the child has an appointment card. They have a particular place where they'll do this every week, and they have a particular set of toys which aren't used at any other time.
You play therapy almost.
Yeah, well, we are really teaching parents to be mini therapists, to do play therapy with their own children, so it's very kind of focused and dedicated, and then they'll use these skills which we're teaching them, which are non-directive, which are reflecting children's feelings and all the things we talked about before the music, with their own child. So then the rest of the time that kind of ripples out into the relationship, but the parents aren't under pressure to behave differently from how they have, because generally the parents are doing a good job anyway. We don't want to change their whole approach to parenting. How
does that half hour work? Do you say to the child, here's your ticket, here we go, we're now going to have a go at pretending to be play therapists, or how does it work?
We generally advise parents to say something like, I'm learning a better way of playing with you, or I'm going on a course to learn how to play, and this is our half an hour special playtime, and you can have this every week. And what we've found is the children relish it, absolutely relish that dedicated time with the parent, and it's really special.
And the toys go back at the end of the half hour.
That's right. It's a special box of toys which are dedicated for special playtime.
It sounds absolutely wonderful, and it makes me feel a little ashamed. I mean, it would be good for us all to have a play, wouldn't it, by the sounds of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we could pretend we're on the radio talking about it. What should people do if they're interested in what you do and they want to follow it up?
The easiest thing would be to look at our website, which is www.appletreecentre.co.uk. We've got our phone number and everything is on there, and that's the best way to contact us, and there's quite a lot of information there about the CPRT course as well.
Did you have happy, playful childhood yourself?
Mostly, yes.
I did, yeah. I remember a lot of playing. I had a sister who was quite close in age, and we played together for hours with no toys or anything. We'd put a sheet over a clothes horse to make a tent, and we'd spend hours camping in there. Or we had imaginary friends who lived in the wardrobe, and we used to go and let them out and play with them. We couldn't see them. We didn't
and then
need
put
anything.
them back in the cupboard.
Well, we just kind of forgot about them.
What about you,
Are they
Rosie?
still there?
Oh, probably.
What about you?
Yeah, I've got a younger sister as well, and we used to play together. We lived out in the countryside, so my memories are a lot of outdoor play, so making dens in the woods and that sort of thing. But I remember having lots of dolls and that sort of thing, and playing with my sister, yeah.
It's BBC Radio Sheffield. Thank you very much, you two. We're going to be talking about that through the morning. We're discussing with listeners who the games they played as children and whether they've been influenced by those games in sufficient way to the sort of job that they take on when they've grown up. And that's what you two do, isn't it, in a way?
Yeah, that's
you
what
played
happened.
then, you play
and now
now.
we play, yeah.
Thank you very much.